Some intelligence inputs accessed by us here at WION suggest that China is helping Pakistan strengthen its bunkers along the line of control and the international border. Chinese engineers are building Pakistani nuclear bases, while more intriguing are reports of Chinese personnel, probably engineers, being sighted in Bahawalpur, which is a little over 400 kilometers from the Indian border. Reports have indicated that Bahawalpur is possibly the location of Pakistan's sixth nuclear base. The Chinese engineers could be overseeing a construction of underground nuclear storage and other facilities. The location of 5 other nuclear bases are known. They are Akro and Panoakil in Sindh, Gujranwala and Sargodha in Punjab, and Khuzdar in Balochistan. There have been reports of a 7th base coming up near Dera Ghazi Khan, but it's not clear if the Chinese are involved here or not. There have been reports of the Chinese helping the Pakistanis build possibly bunkers for surveillance and intelligence gathering purposes in the desert opposite Rajasthan and Gujarat. According to some intelligence reports that we at WION have accessed, there is a trace of Chinese engineers helping Pakistan to build the bunkers along the line of control and along the international border. This could perhaps help Pakistan to have less casualties when attacking and when conducting cross-border operations and ceasefire violations. In fact, one of the crucial points for Pakistan is exactly the absence of a good protection. And if the Chinese are actually helping these will have fallouts, negative fallouts when it comes to the relations between India and China, which is already pretty tense. Remember that the commander-in-chief of the Indian Army, General Bipin Rawat, said that it might be time for the Indian Army to shift its attention from the border with Pakistan to the border with China. The two countries, though, have so far managed in a peaceful way. All the standoffs happened. Remember that Doklam lasted for very long. It was a matter of months, but at the end of the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Indian President Xi Jinping managed to resolve the question. The armies went back, all of them back to their posts, and there is a mutual understanding between India and China not to let this sort of episode decrease the quality of the relation, the political relation between the two countries, which are the two largest countries in the world and the two strongest economy in Asia, undoubtedly. And joining us on the broadcast for more on this story, we have Surya Gangadharan, our senior editor from the newsroom. Surya, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. We have received these intelligence reports saying that the Chinese might be helping Pakistani forces to build bunkers along the line of control. If this is to be confirmed, this will definitely have an impact on the relations between India and China. What kind of impact?
Well, the point is the Chinese have been involved with the Pakistanis in far greater ways in the past. And that hasn't stopped India from continuing its dialogue with China, whether on the disputed border or on furthering economic ties. So I don't think the Chinese help for Pakistan, whether in upgrading their bunkers on the line of control or in upgrading their air bases along the international border with India, is going to really change the dynamics of the India-China equation. They'll continue as before. Clearly both sides are playing a long-term game. China has interests in Pakistan. It has an interest in pushing forward the Belt and Road, and possibly some of this construction is linked to those Belt and Road projects too.
That leads me into the other question. What are the Chinese doing in Pakistan precisely? Is that a political maneuver to keep India, let's say, on the hills in order not to let India feel too comfortable with the relation, and remembering that they are anyway a powerful player in Asia, or is just business as usual and the One Belt One Road initiative is the main actor?
China has two allies in Asia. I think they are the only two allies it really has. One is North Korea, one is Pakistan. So that tells you something about the kind of diplomacy that they do. Both countries are, both North Korea and Pakistan are involved in all kinds of murky dealings, whether in terms of terrorism or proliferating nuclear weapons. So in that sense, there is a triangle of, that they rely on each other, they depend on each other, there is a three-way help that goes on. And this is one of the issues that will come up in the Vancouver dialogue later tomorrow in Canada. India feels that there is a nexus between them which has continued long past the 1990s, when they were all involved in the proliferation of nuclear materials.
And Surya, we always try to read whatever happens in Pakistan as a dichotomy of India and Pakistan, but perhaps what the Chinese are doing is also meant to reach the United States of America, which are pulling out of Pakistan, so to say.
Well, the Chinese, I don't think they can hope to, I don't think they're even interested in wanting to replace the Americans in Pakistan. If you look at the American involvement in Pakistan, $33 billion they've spent on aid, military and civilian aid. I don't think the Chinese are interested in giving that much of aid to Pakistan. They will only give them loans. So I don't think that worries them very much. They will use the Pakistanis for their own purposes, strategic and otherwise, and also ensure that their interests are taken care of, whether it is with India or any other country.
Thank you very much. This was our senior editor, Surya Gangadharan, helping us to understand better what is going on. It seems, in fact, that Chinese engineers are helping the Pakistani army to build bunkers along the line of control. Now we come back to India. The Chief Justice of the country will hold another round of discussion with 4 senior judges of India's apex court. This after the judges held a press conference to voice their concerns over the functioning of the Supreme Court. Sources told WION that the top judges met this morning in the chambers of the Chief Justice of India, Mr. Deepak Misra. Sources said that the Chief Justice assured the senior judges that he would try to resolve the issues they have raised. Meanwhile, the Attorney General of India, K.K. Venugopal, has clarified that the judicial crisis is yet to be resolved. Venugopal said clearly, and we quote, "The issue have not been settled. Let's hope things will be fully settled within 2 to 3 days," end quote. Venugopal was yesterday quoted as having said that the issue had been resolved.